How's it going, guys? My name is Robbie. I also go by the name Closing Dime. I'm a profitable sports bettor. I made over $35,000 last year sports betting. In this video, we're going to talk about how to avoid limits. Unfortunately, as a profitable sports bettor, you're going to face limits no matter what you do. Books do not like you taking money from them. But in this video, we're going to talk about some of the tips that will help you increase the longevity of your accounts and avoid limits for as long as possible. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about here is your closing line value. Now, this is what books use to identify sharp sports bettors. I was actually limited on DraftKings before I even made $1 on them. I was actually down like $500, and I got limited on DraftKings to like $50 max bets in the NBA market. This is because my closing line value was probably close to 75%. All that means is I was beating their closing line 75% of the time or more. That is the number one metric they use for identifying sharp sports bettors. Doesn't matter if you're up a ton of money. If you're not placing sharp bets, they don't care. They know your luck will run out and eventually you'll lose money. So they're looking for closing line value. So the ways to get around this is just placing some square action every now and then. You can do this by just betting right before a game starts on the home team, a big favorite. All that stuff just looks like square plays. You can throw a couple parlays in there, anything to make yourself look like a square and bring your closing line value down. If you're lucky enough to just discover profitable sports betting and you've already had a ton of square action into your account for years where you've just been losing money and making square plays, that's perfect. It's actually the hardest for the sports book to identify is a square bettor that has turned sharp. So if you have an account that is already loaded with square plays, you're in a great spot to start profitable sports betting, and your account will last a lot longer than someone who just comes in, opens an account, and just starts placing a ton of sharp bets. Another really important tip that'll get you flagged really quickly on Sportsbook is you have to round your bets to square numbers. You can't bet like $23.42. It just looks suspicious. Just round it up to $25. I like to keep all my bets rounded to the nearest five. If you're positive EV betting or arbitrage betting and you're using some type of calculator to determine, exactly how much money you should be putting down, you just got to round it. You might lose a little more doing that, but you're not going to get flagged as quickly. You also want to limit your withdrawals. This means if you're starting to make a ton of money on a sports book, don't just keep pulling $500 out every week. They don't like to see people take their money out. You want to leave it in there for as long as possible until you're limited down to nothing. Just keep all your money in there, and then you can make one big withdrawal at the end when you take them for a bunch of money. When it comes to your bet sizing, you want to slowly scale up. Don't be a $10 bettor and then start profitable sports betting and start placing $200 bets. You're going to get flagged really quickly. Continue with your $10 bets, bump it up to 15 for a while, bump it up to 25, just slowly increase your unit sizing. I made the unfortunate mistake on BetMGM. I was betting like $25 a play and I jumped right up to 100, and basically the next day I was limited down to like a $10 max bet. So that was a mistake I made. Hopefully you guys can learn from that. Now you can also start placing live bets. Sportsbooks have a really hard time calculating whether a live bet you placed was actually a positive EV value for you. The markets are just moving so fast and they can't compare odds to other sportsbooks. So they really have no idea if your bets are profitable or not. So if you can find value while you're live betting, it's a really good way to avoid limits and make a ton of money. Now, most books will limit players really quick when it comes to like smaller markets they have, like prop bets, alternate lines, and stuff like that. There's one way if you can just make money betting main lines and spreads, totals, you're probably going to have a pretty long run. Most books are really confident in their main markets, so they're not going to limit players very quickly. But if you're betting alternative player props, you're betting 30 bets a day, they know that that's sharp play, sharp action. They're going to limit you quickly. There's no exact science to how to avoid limits. Each book has a risk management team, and some books limit quicker than others. Some might look at different statistics to identify sharp bettors. So there's really no exact science to it. But I do know if you do a lot of these the tips that I mentioned in this video, your longevity of your account will be longer than someone that just goes in and places a ton of sharp action. All we're doing is trying to look like a square. We're trying to fool these sports books as long as possible so that we can make the most money on them. Hopefully you found this video before you've had too many limits on your account. Maybe you just got limited for the first time and you want to do everything you can avoid limits going forward. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you're new to sports betting or profitable sports betting and you want to learn more, you can join my Discord. That's in the link below. We're just a bunch of profitable sports bettors that feed each other information to help continue making money on the sports books. That's going to wrap it up. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting content weekly about profitable sports betting. So that wraps it up. Let's go make some money.